Okay, so this is the meeting for the 9th, just to put a placeholder on the video. Hello, everybody. Some things that we're going to be talking about today in today's meeting. We have swiftly coming up the regional and the international convention. The regional convention will be leaving probably in the morning of the 11th to go up there. The only thing you'll need to pay for is your registration fee for the regional convention. We'll cover costs of hotel and things like that. Now, the folks that signed up at the last meeting to go to the regional convention, even if you put a question mark, I emailed you the registration form. I need that registration form by Thursday if you're going to go. Otherwise, you'll have to pay $65 instead of $50. So if you don't get the registration form into me by Thursday, you can still go to the regional convention. It'll just cost a little bit more.
Do we need to bring you the money when we bring you down?
You'll pay the business office. We're going to pay with a check out of our funds, and then you guys will pay the business office back. And I'm going to give them a list of students.
So does that have to be due by Thursday too?
No, I just need the registration form.
On the form it said the 3rd through the 5th, so I was just a little confused there.
It did?
Yeah.
Of March.
Of March. It said the 3rd through the 5th.
Okay, let me check.
I was it was conflicting, so
That happens occasionally.
No, my dad used to come out. She called me to check.
See, why didn't you go to him? I couldn't do it.
When did you see that one?
Dreadfully, mine were
It said on the
open.
bar, it said like the dark of the thing.
Oh, gotcha. What?
I got dark,
But they didn't.
Now I want to talk to you, Bruce.
Bro, I'm Papa too. Are you going to him?
No,
Why?
I'm scared to.
You're not even gonna think about it? You're just like, no. He said it's not his schedule.
Hey, I make up my mind,
It's all right.
I mean, it's good because it's more like one job.
It might be
So
too.
sue me. No. Miss that one.
You tell him.
Oh yeah, you told him.
You're ready to go
That
to
Kevin guy.
Disney. To DC?
I wish I.
Are we flying?
Duran told me it was
DC?
$50 to DC.
You don't really-
She lied
When is that?
by about $450.
When is that?
The convention in DC, the international. While I'm looking this up, I can.
I'm not going to DC until I'm elected congressman and I go up there and lobby.
Well, you know what? I suppose it is that first weekend. I had put in my calendar the 11th and 12th. I don't know where that came from, but I guess it is the 4th and the 5th. Is that date right? Yeah.
What month?
Of March, so 3 weeks.
Not complete.
By the way, Doug,
So,
The same
What?
one.
speaking of DC, who won the New Hampshire caucus?
that's not over till tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so it does look like I think you're right. The regional convention is the 4th and 5th.
So is it the 3rd, 4th, and 5th, or just the 4th?
Just the 4th and 5th, just the Friday and Saturday. I had mistake. I put it in my calendar incorrectly, so I apologize for that. That's a big gaffe. And I'm looking right at the calendar thing that I put incorrectly in my calendar. What I'm guessing happened is we talked about the date at the leadership conference, and they hadn't finalized it. And once they finalized it, it had been changed. So it's 4th and 5th. So we'll be leaving early on the 4th. The date for the early registration hasn't changed. That's still February 12th. So if you do want to go, I need the registration form, not the money, but the registration. You'll need to pay the money before we leave. But the registration form is due by the 11th, which is this Thursday. Questions on that? Some of the folks that had question marks by their names. Any further? Know anything further?
I'm gonna go.
Okay.
It's a
Julian's
possibility,
gonna
we
go.
don't have some balls, but.
I do need to know well, I need to know by Thursday so I know whether we have to rent a car and all those sorts of things, so.
When does my money need to be in? Like,
But before
not
we-
for that, for
We're gonna go
PTK.
join.
For joining, as soon as possible, but no later than induction day if you want to participate in induction. And if you're going to go to any of these conferences, you need to pay your fee.
So just to be in this, I'm gonna go ahead and need to pay.
Mhm. But it's only a one-time fee. It's $95. That's because, but the $95 does make you eligible for $37 million worth of scholarships. So if you look at it as an investment, it's a pretty good deal. Okay, so I do apologize that that's the 4th and 5th of March is the regional convention. Please get your, if you're watching this online, please get your registration form to me ASAP. I will do my best to post a registration form on the Facebook page. So if you lost my email, changed your mind about going, you can go to the Facebook page and get it. Also, you can just send me an email. International Convention, I do know that is the 7th through 9th. We are going to need some commitments by our next meeting. As far as your commitment financially, it's not going to be the full cost of the trip. It will be under $500. If I have to pay out of my own pocket, that's what I told you guys last time. That's what I'm going to stick to. Why is it so expensive? Well, one, the registration fee is $365 if you're early. I know I see a lot of big eyes for a lot of big conventions. For any organization, you're going to have big conference fees. And you do get a lot for that. You get a lot of seminars. There's the general sessions, which are a lot of fun. There's a formal at the end of it, kind of like a prom or something like that, which is a lot of fun as well. And also, you know, we have a day in DC, or an afternoon rather, to kind of poke around. But I do need to know by the 23rd whether you're going to go to that or not. Why did this shut down? Not sure what happened there. Oh, it didn't shut down. Good. Okay. If you want information on the International Convention, again, go to the Facebook page. I posted I guess the trailer or the informational stuff from PTK on the conference. They call it Nerd Nation. So if you see that term used, that's what they use for it.
I still couldn't have picked a better name.
You know, it works. I think it's also, you know, it's branding. They're trying to turn nerd from a pejorative into a positive thing. So I see what they're doing.
They just call it FLW.
FLW.
FRW, my bad.
I'm
Future rulers of the world.
future rulers of the world. Well, future bosses maybe. Anywho, so if you do want to go to the International Convention, we are planning currently to take the Faulkner bus. I haven't gotten a financial commitment for that, for flying from the foundation. I'm going to meet with them again between now and then. So be checking your email, and I'll let you know exact numbers of what you're going to have to cover so you can make a good decision. Now, we can still do spring fundraisers between now and April, certainly. We have Krispy Kreme available to us. We could do a barbecue. There's lots of things that we could do for fundraisers. So if you want to go to the International Convention but don't think you can pay for it out of pocket, let me know in person or via email that you want to do a fundraiser to try to help pay your way to the International Convention. Questions on all that? How many of you, just by show of hands, would be interested in going to the International Convention, knowing that there's going to be a financial? That's kind of sideways. How many of you, if it was just your food while you were there, would be all in for going. Okay, several. So I will take, no, that's good. That's why I'm asking, because I can take that information to the foundation and say, look, we have five or six students who want to go to the international convention, but can't afford it. You know, what can you do to help? So that would be good. Now, we do need to have elections fairly soon, probably before the international convention, or right after regional convention. Why? Because PTK is on the calendar year. Their year starts January 1st. Really, it starts after the Honors in Action project is due in late January, but they run on the calendar year rather than the school year. So we are going to be looking at electing officers for next year. So if you're a freshman, well, first of all, we need to decide as a chapter whether we want to do an officer team or a president and two vice presidents. What's the difference? The officer team has the work kind of spread out. That's what we did this year. Between the there's a or no, that's a cricket. Sorry, a black bug underneath the trash can. So usually find cockroach.
There was one in class the other day.
Anywho, an officer team, the officers are responsible kind of for all of the major projects, the Honors in Action, college project, any community service projects we do. Whereas with an officer team, you'd have a president who's responsible for everything. And then you'd have a vice president in charge of leadership, a vice president in charge of scholarship, and a vice president essentially in charge of community involvement. So it's really a four-person officer team. And you would be expected to go to mock chapter over the summer and do a couple of other things. But it's something to think about. Our next meeting will establish what we want to do, rather, if we want to do an officer team or vice presidents. Usually the way that works is whether we have four people who volunteer to be officers or not. If we have two or three, we'll probably do an officer team. Okay, questions on that? Does anybody want to run for regional office?
How much power are we talking?
You're a sophomore.
Well, if you're a sophomore, you can be a sophomore if you're planning on being in community college next year, but if you're not, then you're not eligible. Sorry. It's really freshmen going into the next year, which would look really good on transcripts, resumes, all that sort of stuff. What does a regional coordinator do? They help coordinate like the leadership conference. Your travel's paid for. You get to go to a lot of different meetings over the summer, both regional and international leadership conferences. You would run mock chapters, stuff like that. So that's also something to think about before the regional convention. Induction, the reason I have it up there is April 19th, 20th, and 21st. The 20th, which is a Wednesday, is awards day. Typically, awards day is from like 11 to 12 for awards, so it's hard to have induction on that same day. But we can do, would you guys rather do induction during the lunch hour or in the late afternoon or evening, like 4 or 5 o'clock? The advantage of the lunch hour is you're here anyway, you don't have class or work in most cases.
Oh, so we're talking about where's that?
No, probably the 19th or the 21st. So if it's during the lunch hour, it's easier for you guys, generally speaking, to come. However, if we have induction at 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening, it's easier for families to come. So again, something to think about. I don't think we have to make a decision now. We can make that decision at the next meeting. However, you'll have like 6 weeks to set the date apart. So hopefully you'll be able to get off of work or something like that that
Do
far
we
ahead
have
of
to
time.
show up for induction?
You don't have to. If you can't make it, you're still a member. And as I tell people who ask me about it, how much do I have to be involved in PTK? Well, like college, you're going to get out of it what you put into it. But at just bare minimum, if you accept membership, you're automatically eligible for all the PTK scholarships.
Because with induction being on either Tuesday, it's Thursday, I won't be able to do
Mhm. Well, I mean, we're not going to work on it. We're not going to be able to fit everybody's schedule,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
that.
So.
I understand that.
But I do want to think of a date that works best for all of our members. And the faces I'm seeing today are the ones that are typically at meetings. I know we have honors students that are at the kissing booth, so or the kisses booth. But we can do induction, and this will be our last induction as Jefferson Davis Community College. We will be have a new name. We'll have the same chapter. It will still be Alpha Eta Lambda, as far as I know. But the next induction will be part of a much larger college because we'll certainly be merged by the spring with Faulkner and Alabama Southern.
What's the name going to be?
They're still throwing around names.
Would it all the same group?
No, the one that I've heard the most is Gulf Coast Regional College or Gulf Coast Regional Community College. So it would be the Gulf Coast Regional Community College Bruton campus. So, yeah. What's that?
It's a mouthful.
Yeah, it is. And it's, if you have campuses that are 125 miles apart, I would rather than name it Gulf Coast Regional College instead of Regional Community College because
Yeah.
you're not one community if you're 125 miles apart. But that's just the English teacher in me, wanting the syntax to be correct. So nobody's going to listen to me. But if you do have input, you can email Dr. Branch, who's the president of Faulkner. You can look up his email address if you have input or an idea for what you want the name to be or think the name should be. So I'm sure they would welcome student suggestions. So. Okay, membership update. I was just talking about for the folks who were here before the meeting started that I have. I know Madeline emailed me and somebody else, so you haven't gotten communications yet from PTK. Okay, I've been emailing back and forth with them, and this is the first term that I've been under, or this process has been under the new website. So I'm communicating with them to find out if I missed a step or if they changed something and I missed the memo or what have you. The way that it worked in the past is I would submit the names to PTK and they contact you and they give you an access code, and they still will be giving you an access code and you can pay online. That hasn't happened yet. I don't know why. I'm still figuring out why. I'm having one of those situations where I think the person expects me to know more about this than I do. So they're giving me very short answers that don't make a whole lot of sense. So we're having you ever had a conversation where you're both speaking English, but you're not speaking the same language? That's kind of what I'm going through right now with PTK. However, if you're watching this and you're an eligible student or you're an eligible student in here that hasn't yet gotten the invite, I am working on it. Make sure you're checking your email this week because you'll get a notice either from me or from Phi Theta Kappa with what you have to do to pay your fees. Because, I mean, you guys are all active PTK members already. It's just, you have to finish the paperwork for those of you who haven't paid yet. And I do appreciate the conditional members from last semester continuing to be active, even though, there's a delay and all this stuff. So I do appreciate that. And the help that you guys have given on the Honors in Action project and things like that. And this year it is my goal for us to get started earlier on the Honors in Action project. So we can do a more detailed, more potentially award-winning project, although I think we have a good shot at winning an award for our college project because I think it was very good. But also to do some more fun events on campus and have more campus involvement in our Honors in Action project. But to do that, we have to have the research done and the basic idea done earlier. You have to put the work in to have fun. If you've ever hosted a party or planned an event, prom or anything like that. There's a lot of hard work oftentimes that goes into having fun. So that's the way that is. So questions on membership. Okay, I don't want you guys to be late for your next class. What you need to think about between now and the next meeting, whether you want to go to international convention, I will have the numbers, your financial numbers, if I have to go down to the guy who's the president of the foundation's work and ask him myself. I will do that between now and next meeting. Regional convention is if you want to go, I need those registration forms, not the payment, but the registration forms. The reason is I have to fill out a PO with the student names that they need to expect to pay. And also, if you want or need to raise funds in order to go to international convention, let me know via email or in person. We'll probably be doing Krispy Kreme or some barbecue type events where we can get cheap food or donations and then charge people to come in. Okay, I'm sorry that we went a little over the planned time. Thank you guys again for coming. Thank you for watching if you're watching it. And I'll see you guys on the 23rd.